Okay, it's time to get you here to Japan. Today I'm going to go over how you can get an IT job here in Japan, specifically as a software engineer. I'll tell you how I did it and kind of what the current environment is like for software engineers here. So first of all, do you have a degree? If you have a degree overseas and you have experience as an engineer, you can probably get a visa sponsored to come here. If you don't have a degree, you're going to need a way to get to Japan. There are quite a few different options for actually getting to Japan if you don't have a degree, depending on what you want to do. So if you have a good paying engineering job and you have over 10 years of experience, which is going to filter out quite a few people, but if you have over 10 years of experience, you'll be treated just the same as if you have a degree as far as immigration goes. That information is probably up to date, but of course just look it up before you apply. If you don't have 10 years of experience and you have experience as a developer, you're going to need to find some different way to get here. There have been talks of like a remote work visa. I'm not too familiar with that, so I'll have to look that up later and tell you about it. But what I do know of is there's a highly skilled workers visa, which depending on your level of education, which again, you probably don't have an education if you've got to this point, because if you have a 4-year degree, you can already just come in. But basically you'll get ranked based on like if you have a JLPT, which is a Japanese proficiency test score. If you're already making a certain income, you'll get more points. And basically if you get over a certain threshold of points, you'll be approved to come in and work in your specific field. So if there's no other way for you to get in, as a last resort, you can do what I did initially, which is come here to a language school. You can study for however long it takes you to get proficient in Japanese, switch over to a vocational school that's for programming or whatever specific IT field you want to be in. And then after that, you can get a job here. That's still going to take a lot of time, right? I mean, you'll probably spend at least 3 years, maybe 4 years doing all that. But the good thing is you already have programming experience, so vocational schools should be fairly easy for you, and you can be learning Japanese the whole time instead of being back stuck at college in your other country. And you don't have to wait for 10 years of experience, right? So if you're already in IT, you probably have a good amount of savings piling up if you're, say, in the US or maybe Europe. So if you just want to come and spend, I think you could get away with like $9,000 a year for language school, plus of course living expenses. Then you can go that path, get in Japan really quick, and you'll be learning Japanese the whole time, which is great, I think. I came here for language school for just a year and 3 months, and I became pretty proficient in Japanese. Of course, my current level is due to being with my wife, who only speaks Japanese. But you'll get pretty far with just a language school. You'll make a lot of good friends along the way, and it'll be a good time. So that's one path you can consider. And then maybe during that time, you can do some freelance engineering if you get special approval from the government to do part-time work, which the part-time work approval is pretty much automatic. You just filed for it. I think it's like permission to do activities outside of designated visa or something, some kind of application like that. I think it always gets approved. It did for me anyway, just working at a convenience store. So you can be doing part-time work as an engineer while being here on a language visa. And if you're okay with putting out some cash, I think this is a great way to get introduced to the country. So once you're actually here, how are you going to get a job in Japan? So if you're from the US, you might know it's pretty hard to get into software development right now. There's a pretty limited number of jobs, and those are mostly just mid to senior level jobs. It's really hard to get in as a junior engineer, or maybe even just mid is tough to get into right now. But if you were here in Japan job searching, you would never know that, because there are plenty of IT jobs right now in Japan. I might need to make an update on that later, but right now there's plenty of tech jobs. In fact, companies are getting pretty desperate for engineers from what I've seen. So now I'm going to switch over to my computer and show you some of the sites you can use to look for engineering jobs. Okay, I decided I'm just going to film this on my camera because there's not going to be too much of it's pretty good and it's just more of a hassle to screen record, so here we go. First off, you don't want to go to Japan's version of Indeed, because you'll find really low paying jobs there. It's mainly for like the bottom of like very entry level jobs, right? So I'm not even gonna show you Indeed.com. What I will show you, first of all, I'll show you what I use to find my current job. This website right here. It's called Findy. The website address is Findy, Findy-code.io. This is kind of a modern website for getting scouted and sending out messages to recruiters. No, not recruiters. The good thing about this website is don't talk to recruiters, you talk directly to the companies, directly to the HR at the companies, which is great. Basically, you'll sign up here, put all of your info in, you'll link your GitHub account. You link your GitHub account and it automatically shows all of the languages you're using. Personally, I've only really been contributing to private repositories, so mine shows like JavaScript, TypeScript, and something else. And it only estimates my yearly income potential as $590,000 to $690,000. 590万から690万円までしか想定されてないです。But this is way underballing. In fact, I'm making significantly more than this right now. Do not get discouraged by this. Don't actually take this at face value at all. In fact, as a foreign engineer, I mean, this is what's being shown to Japanese people too, of course, or only Japanese really. As a foreign engineer, you have a much higher earning potential than this. So please don't believe this, but that's what that is. Once you link your GitHub account and you set your profile to like searching for a job, actually this is your status right here. So you got searching for a job. I want to switch jobs within 3 months. I want to switch jobs within half a year. I want to just hear companies out, hear what they have to say, or I am not thinking of switching jobs. You set that, and basically if you set it to anything other than I'm not switching jobs, you will slowly get messages from companies. Or you'll quickly get messages from companies. I don't know. It just depends on what all you've wrote in your profile, because you make a separate profile in here as well. So, for example, I have 99... I guess I have 335 likes from various companies. So just daily, different companies will sit here and like me. And these likes will be from a specific job listing. So let's just click on a random one. I haven't seen any of these, but this one's called Well Nice, right? I click on this job listing. This is looking for a VP of E or a CTO candidate. And the pay here is 10,000 yen, so about $100,000 to $200,000. I mean, obviously this is in yen, but sorry, I just think of everything in dollars. Just tells you about the job. It looks like this is like a baby care app or some kind of learning thing. I haven't really read about it. Tells you what's required here. Tells you what kind of skills they're looking for. You know, that's just standard job listing stuff. We could go over all of this, all of the perks the specific job's offering, and maybe we can do that later. I can make a video breaking down actual job listings. But for now, I'll just tell you how to use this site. So right now, they sent you an ine, you know, a thumbs up. A like on Facebook. You can send them a like back, or you can say, no, I'll pass this time. And I don't know if they'll see if you say you'll pass this time. I assume they would see that as well, but if you send them a like back, you'll probably get a message asking them to do a casual talk with you. I don't know if this is standard in the US as well, but here they do casual talks where basically, you know, officially on paper it's not an interview, but it's kind of just to feel each other out and see what the other one's like, you know, what you're like and what the company's like. And then after that, because it's just to get a feel for it, you'll probably get by that stage no problem. I don't know if you can be passed up in that stage, but usually you'll get to do a technical test either before your first interview or after your first interview. Then here in Japan, similar to the West, they'll have several stages of interviews. You pass all of that, obviously you get the job, but right now we're just talking about where to find jobs. This is one site that is used for that, and I really recommend this because, like I said, every single day, for me anyway, likes have come in, and I only had like 4 years of experience or something when I started on this site. So that's what that is, and I got my current job actually from here. From a casual talk on here I started, and then did interviews with them and got the job. So I can vouch for how good this site is. One thing I will say is you can get an advisor on this site, and they'll just come in your inbox here, say, do you want an advisor? This is all in Japanese, so there's no English support for this site. If you know Japanese, you're gonna have a huge leg up on people because foreigners aren't using this site, but every company on this site, I guarantee they want foreign engineers to some extent. Another good thing about using this site is you will get really forward-minded, forward-thinking companies. You know, you're not gonna have too many legacy companies on here that are gonna be Braku Kaisha toka, a black company as they call it in Japan, where you know, everything's really dark and under the table. Usually companies on here are going to be pretty good. I mean, they're pretty forward thinking, and I would say even some of them are closer to like Western companies. Don't take my word on that. I mean, obviously vet whatever company you're gonna be working for, but just from my experience, they're really, a lot of tech-driven companies use this site. Highly recommend it. The next site I'm going to show you, here I just searched it, is very unique. I think this is unique to Japan. I haven't heard of this in the West, but what this site is called is Tenshoku Draft. The website is job-draft.jp. What is this site? You put in all of your information, you put in your preferred salary, and then you're anonymized, and scouts, or no, the companies themselves actually send out messages to you anonymized. And if you want to connect with them, you push connect similar to on that last site. So they scout you and you can choose to return it or overlook that company. Another good thing about this site is you can also, there's also flags saying, do not request my CV. Basically only go on the info I have here. The companies are bound by the agreements of this site. So this site is kind of like a, I don't know what to call it, like a union for people looking for a job. It's obviously not a union, but what I'm saying, it's like a collective for people looking for a job, because the companies are actually bound by the rules of this site. So whatever your desired income you put on there, these companies, if they choose to hire you, they are legally bound, or they're bound by the contract of this site to not offer you lower. And obviously if they offer you lower, you can come back to this site and complain, and that company might not be able to use the site again or something like that. But they're bound by the contract they make with this site, right? So that is great. I'm not going to log in here because I don't have an account for here. I only have an account for the hiring side, because at my company I look over the hiring stuff as well. And so I can see users applying and whatnot. Here, look, they even let you see anonymized users without logging in or anything. So it just shows this person is looking for a job over 200. Like, this person is valued at this amount, I guess. I think that's what companies might be offering them. I'm not really sure because, again, I've only used it on the hiring side. But, oh, this guy is legend status salary, apparently. So those guys must be really expensive. But anyway, you can even see from outside kind of what people are looking for. This person's valued at, say, 912만. So this person's like at $91,200 a year. So also it's an event. For various periods throughout the year, you have a certain time frame that you have to send these scout messages to these candidates. Then I guess there's a cutoff date. I don't actually know what happens after this cutoff date, but there's a cutoff date, and basically there's hiring periods, but this happens several times throughout the year. And companies, they feel this sense of urgency about it, and also they're bound by the rules that they signed up for, so they cannot lowball you. This is great, and this is only, I believe, this is only in Japanese as well. So again, you're really going to need to know Japanese. So if you don't have the experience, I seriously recommend considering going to Japanese language school before coming here, and then you'll be set up great. You'll be a foreign candidate with developer experience, and you will have access to the site that most foreigners don't know about that are great for finding a job. Even more so in the West though, recruiters are a big part of a lot of people's hiring process here in Japan. So if you want to go down that route, it's probably a good path. There's probably plenty of jobs. The problem is, you could get pressured by your recruiter and the whole process to lower your desired wages. I personally don't have experience with recruiters here. I like to just go on the site, say up front, this is what I'm looking for salary-wise. And also, by using the websites, you can be talking to so many companies at once. I really just recommend using the websites here. If you were in the US, you might want to use recruiters because there's so few jobs right now. But here, there's no reason to really be using recruiters when there's so many good jobs on websites like these two that I've shown you. In my opinion, there's no good reason to use them right now, other than if you struggle in Japanese, so you want to find a job that's okay with you using mostly English, but you're not confident in your ability to, say, interview in Japanese or look for jobs by yourself in Japanese. I could definitely see the desire to work with a recruiter that speaks both Japanese and English in that case. So off the top of my head, that's pretty much all I have to say about finding a job in Japan. There's an abundance of jobs here. You just got to get here first, and if you already know software development, that's great. If you don't know software development and you don't have a degree, go the language school route, get into a vocational school first, and do software development on the side, get some experience, and you'll be set up great as a foreign engineer here in Japan, I think. If you have any specific questions about getting to Japan or being a developer here in Japan, let me know in the comments and I will try to answer some of them. Maybe I can make a follow-up video. Just let me know. Okay, have a good day. Bye.